In most parts of the world, a nightmare neighbor means dealing with noisy late-night parties or a grumpy HOA Karen complaining about your overgrown lawn. But in North Korea, a bad neighbor wields power that is roughly 10,000 times more terrifying. She probably knows more about what you had for dinner last night, what shows you binge-watched, and who secretly crashed on your couch than you do. And the absolute kicker? A single word from her can decide whether your entire family gets shipped off to a gulag by tomorrow morning. Forget about billion-dollar spy satellites, facial recognition, or dystopian AI surveillance. The Kim regime's ultimate weapon to keep 26 million people in line runs entirely off the grid. It goes by the shockingly mundane name, the Inminban, or Neighborhood Watch. If you picture the North Korean state apparatus as a suffocating giant web, the Inminban are the microscopic yet deadliest threads on that web. They slither into every single rundown apartment building, reaching right up to your literal bedside. In North Korea, every 20 to 40 households are forcibly grouped into one of these watches. And the supreme dictator of this micro-empire? A woman officially known as the Inminban Jang. Yep, this gig is almost exclusively held by women, usually full-time housewives without formal day jobs. But if you're thinking this sounds like your friendly neighborhood watch lady who bakes cookies, you are dead wrong. The government's logic for choosing housewives is actually bone-chilling. They are the only ones with the free time to act as a 24/7 human radar, scanning the entire community. Who just smuggled in a new TV? Who got fresh clothes? Who suddenly has meat on their dinner table? She's secretly logging it all. She doesn't need to win an election. She's directly handpicked by the higher-up party committee. And even though she doesn't get paid a single dime, in this micro-ecosystem, she is literally a god with the power of life and death. Out of all her terrifying powers, the one that will really give you nightmares is the midnight bed checks. Picture this. You're jolted awake at 2 a.m. by frantic knocking. The watch lady is standing at your door with 2 armed cops, demanding immediate entry. In her hand, she holds an excruciatingly detailed registry of every resident. If you're hiding an unregistered overnight guest, or God forbid, the cops find a smuggled K-drama still sitting in your DVD player, your entire family could vanish off the face of the earth before dawn. Under this system, the state doesn't need to blow billions on a high-tech surveillance grid. Because in North Korean logic, guilt by association and mutual surveillance are the most efficient sensors money can't buy. Driven by absolute terror, everyone is forced to spy on everyone else, making the eyes of the old lady across the hall sharper than any 4K security camera. The entire neighborhood is turned into a completely transparent, inescapable fishbowl. And if that wasn't enough, brainwashing is flawlessly baked right into this community lifestyle. The Inminban holds mandatory political study sessions every single week. And trust me, this isn't one of those boring corporate meetings where you can just zone out in the back row. In the second half of the meeting, everyone must stand up and do self-criticism. And then here comes the most brutal part: you have to snitch on each other. This mechanism forces neighbors to publicly tear each other apart, hardwiring the state's will directly into everyone's subconscious. But if you think the Inminban is nothing more than a mindless terror machine, you're underestimating the wild complexity of human nature. In North Korea's hyper-starved economy, the watch lady holds the ultimate bargaining chip, your literal food rations. She's in charge of helping hand out the tickets for your grain and fuel. One bad word from her to the higher-ups means your family starves next month. One good word, and you might score some incredibly precious extra supplies. And so, teetering on the edge of life and death, a twisted system of grassroots corruption and survival is born. As long as you know how to play the game, like slipping her a carton of good black market cigarettes or a couple of fresh blocks of tofu, she might just happen to cough very loudly in the hallway right before the cops raid your apartment. That cough is your cue to instantly kill the K-drama, eject the drive, and shove the contraband under your floorboards. Some of the smarter watch ladies have even turned this into a wildly lucrative side hustle. Want to skip mandatory community manual labor to go make some real cash at the black market? No problem. Just pay your monthly protection fee to the boss lady on time. And on her official registry, you'll forever be a model citizen who's just homesick in bed. This is the most authentic, suffocating reality of how North Korean society actually functions. It doesn't have that cold, robotic vibe you see in sci-fi movies. Instead, it is built entirely on human weakness, fear, greed, and compromise. Through the Inminban, the Kim regime has weaponized human nature's social instinct, implanting the deadliest surveillance camera directly into everyone's soul. Living in this terrifying state of total transparency, walking on eggshells, is just the daily reality for 26 million people. You might figure out a way to dodge the military satellites up in space, but you will never, ever escape the eagle eyes of the old lady living right across the hall. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. See you next time.